Hallo und willkommen. As you just saw, this is Düsseldorf, and I just wanted to narrate this a little bit. It may not be the most interesting, but this is just as much for my own personal documentation as it is for keeping it out there on the internet. So here we go. What I did for this journey was I started from my hotel in Utrecht and got on the high-speed German train, the Deutsche Bahn, and I can't remember how fast it goes. It's at least 150 miles an hour, and it was nice and smooth. And then I just got off the train here in Dusseldorf and started biking around. So basically what I do on these trips is when I have my bike, I just look on Google Maps at some central locations that I might want to go to, and then I just go there. And now that we're off the cobblestone, it's much more smooth. The Brompton doesn't really do cobblestone too well with its small 16-inch tires. And this is an example of how the biking infrastructure is not as good. Well, in the two cities I was in Germany, it just doesn't even compare to the Netherlands. All of a sudden, when I got here, I felt like I was in battle mode, like I normally would be when I'm biking in the US. And but at least you're able to cut through traffic like I just did. At this point, I was a little bit mad for a couple reasons. Um, I was just getting a little bit perturbed with the lack of bike lanes. Like right here, you have a bike lane, and then it ends. And sometimes it was because of construction, and sometimes it was because they just didn't have a bike lane in that area, and it was just a huge contrast compared to the Netherlands, where I got really spoiled. And the other reason that I wasn't having a great time at this moment was because I was looking for change. I found a public bathroom down by the river, but it only took coins, and so I had to go to a grocery store to just like buy some food and drink and then get the correct amount of change. And these little moments I just wanted to include because they're a part of the travel on your own, especially. And one situation that came about because of this was that I needed change to use the public bathroom, so I ended up going to a grocery store to get some food and something to drink, and had to come up with a sentence in German to say to the cashier. Now, I'm sure I didn't have to do that, but sometimes I just prefer the fun of having to make and memorize a sentence in order to just use the language. That's what makes it so fun. And it's not always like fun and glamour. Sometimes you have little problems you have to solve like that. For this intersection, I think I pretty well dubbed over my voice, but I was just complaining about the red little sign on the right because from my understanding, European signs, if they have something in red, that means something you're not supposed to do. And so in this case, this sign seems to indicate to me that bikes should not go straight at this intersection, but that is not the case because if you look at the other side of the intersection, they have the bike symbol with a fly wording that means bikes accepted, just like the Netherlands, so that means bikes are allowed to go through. And there's also a do not enter sign for cars. But then you come to this street, and in the video I say, like, this feels iffy because you're just going head on and no protection from the cars.
Feels very iffy.
Here's a lower quality video because it was filmed on my phone, but this is going on the Deutsche Bahn, maybe at around 150 miles an hour through Germany. And the reason I know it's Germany is because there's no bike paths on the side. At the beginning of this trip, I thought I was only going to be doing a day trip to Düsseldorf, and that city ended up not impressing me very much, so I decided to do an impromptu trip a little further to Köln. And so these pictures here are the Köln train station, and here's the hotel room I stayed in for the night in Köln, and this is the view out my window. And this is the Cologne Cathedral, Dom Köln. It was so massive and one of the most beautiful cathedrals I've ever seen. This is a walk I did, and these two towers I believe are called the Crane Towers. And Döner Kebab, of course, in Germany, and the Köln train station at night.